go ahead. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May 13th meeting of the Norwood Trails Advisory Committee, and 7 p.m. up at the Civic Center here.
Senior Center.
I'm sorry, the Senior Center. We currently have no call-ins, so we will try to keep this meeting progressing in an orderly manner. I'll take a call to order, and we'll go around and just introduce yourselves, starting with
Chris Paddock.
Jean Palmetier.
Vic Babel.
Craig Austin.
Brian Palmetier.
Marguerite Krupp.
And I'm Lee Leach. I'm leading the meeting in the absence of our chairman today, who is out of the country, enjoying himself with some family time and personal time. So moving on, we don't have a lot of real new stuff, so it's mostly going to be updates and where we are going forward in the next couple months. So according to the agenda, we are at prior meeting minutes, which we have none submitted in the last month, so we will go on and go up to the next one. There are no visitors for us to speak to, but on that topic, I know a couple weeks ago, or a couple meetings ago, we had a visit from the representative from the Appalachian Mountain Club, who is directing the Bay Circuit Trail that they manage now. Had been for a number of years. I believe it. Remind me the name. Anyone?
Amber.
Amber.
That was it, yeah.
Amber, somebody.
Stearns.
That's correct.
Very good.
So Amber Stearns
Oh.
sent out, and I received, I don't know if anybody else on the committee has signed up for the Bay Circuit newsletter that she publishes sort of on a monthly basis, but I did, and I received it this morning. And I was really kind of impressed with the format and sort of the specific content and use of images and trail improvement photos and things like that. So I would encourage anybody who's inclined, like Joe Barrett would be, or other people, maybe Brian, you'd be interested in signing up for that newsletter too. So.
Is there a cost to it?
Oh, no, it's
online.
They just send it out
Okay.
email.
It's a shared newsletter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Do you happen to have a link for that?
I have an email for it.
Okay.
So send me an.
Okay, I'll send.
Or
Imagine if I Google Bay Circuit Trail newsletter, it might pop up.
that'll
Maybe.
probably come right up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that was very informative. I thought this.
It was very
when
good.
I looked at that.
One man show, one woman show.
Yeah.
So going on, upcoming events. We already did Norwood 101, but Farmers Market is coming up in June. Starting on the first Tuesday is going to be June 17th on the Common 2 to 6, and we're looking for people to staff our table. Joe Greeley has filled out that application, and he's indicated the weeks that we're committed to be there. So if you can make it, please let myself and Joe know.
Will it be every week, or are you gonna
So
alternate?
the farmer's market is every week. Joe has not committed to every week
Yeah.
yet. So we're hoping we can fill in the ones that he cannot make it to. I cannot make it to any of them.
What?
So
But you
I
got
will
a
get
life?
to that later, but.
Okay.
And the farmer's market the first Tuesday in August will be earlier by a couple hours because that's the night they do the police, help me out that.
Oh, the
night.
thing on the common where
Yeah,
the
the
police
come in.
officer-friendly kind of
Big
thing?
night out or
It's
something
something
like that.
along those, in August, so that's the only exception, but the management up at the farmer's market in July will remind us of that, those new, different hours. I think they're like noon to 4 or something along those lines. And by the way, even though the market is scheduled to open at 2, vendors
start
set up
arriving.
and are ready to go easily by 1:30.
Yeah.
So just expect that.
You know, if you're not gonna be there all year long, is it a possibility to alternate it every other week?
Take it up
Because
with
it's gonna
Joe.
be difficult.
Yeah, different
Yeah.
people, different,
Yeah,
what you're
yeah.
saying,
I
different
know.
days.
Oh, just skip a week,
Yeah.
skip a week, skip a
Well,
week.
we could be a presence there if different people will volunteer for skipping a week.
Yeah, and-
Well, we sometimes have a hard time with Lee there every time.
Yeah, I know. Bless you.
and I know you guys stepped up for when I had to take some time off the end of
Yeah.
last summer, so
Yeah.
thank you very much for doing that, but I know you're capable. So that's farmer's market. The next 4B item, Willett School, and there are a couple of events there tomorrow from 5:30 to 7. There's a literacy event that we were there last year for. So they'll be setting the.
Is that Thursday night?
So that's
So
Wednesday
Wednesday.
night.
Oh, Wednesday
Tomorrow.
night.
No,
Wednesday,
so-
tomorrow.
So it's not a town meeting
Tomorrow.
night. That's tomorrow. The, it's likely to be some families with students that may be coming in next year. I'm not totally sure, but it's centered around the parents and the children coming in. Last year we were in the gym. I suspect we'll have a table again there. And we'll have, sort of the younger children-centric items there for that. So I'll plan to be there to help start setup at 5. Anyone available? I know you said.
Yeah, I don't think I can make it.
It would be nice to have at least one other person
Sure.
join me. So, and last year they had brought in pizza for everybody. So.
Oh, yeah, that was the one in the fall. They're like STEM night or whatever.
No, I think it was in the, well, I don't recall it being in the fall, but
Yeah, but anyway.
yeah, it's patterned around the STEM night like we had at Prescott. And then on the 30th, I think the 30th is a walk. I couldn't get to my email, so I couldn't verify what the 30th is, but that might be their one of their group walks through the neighborhood.
Was that in the email you sent to us? Or no?
No, that's.
I was gonna say, 'cause I can
and a-
try to
and
get my
a,
email, but-
and a email that was sent to the Trails Committee email. So I'm just trying to get on from the computer. I couldn't get on my emails.
Got it.
Is that the walk to Mount Norwood?
Yeah, basically, I think that's the one. But if it's not, I'll send out a clarification on that.
Yeah, that was very
While
good.
we still can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we still can, yeah.
So, and the other event that is sort of in this classification that's not on the agenda, which we haven't been notified of the exact date, is the Prescott School STEM Night. That's, that, I did talk to the principal over at the Prescott, Brian, and he's indicated he was still formulating and had scheduled it, but it's likely to be early June.
Hmm.
So, closer to the end of the school year for the
And will they go down to, the end of the street?
So Prescott is just an indoor STEM night in the evening
Oh, okay.
event. We've done that the last 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
They set up a lot of different science, technology, math, kind of, for the young grades. And we get a lot of interest in this, you know, and the parents in the school, just, again, learning how to get out, particularly around the Meadow Street area, which is that neighborhood, Prescott School. So-
We're not doing a particular science thing there. We're
No,
just there to
well,
represent the trails, let people, it's
yeah,
an
we
informational
do
thing.
that-
Yep.
Yeah, related to,
I didn't know if we like needed to do map and compass or something. Yeah.
No.
To have
you
it.
know, we could,
That's the event.
you know, I envisioned, and, you know, when people want to talk about how we relate science and using the technology that we have today to navigate the trails and to learn how the river floods and drains and things like that. But at that age, the children are just looking for nature.
Elementary.
Inspirations and things like that. So,
So do,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, that's okay, I'm sorry. Do we have, it looks like the biggest agenda item is 45 minutes on trail marking and wayfinding.
Oh, no. 45 minutes is the whole subcommittee reports.
The whole-
I did have
the whole
another
night.
event to talk about, too,
Okay,
an
good.
upcoming event.
We'll let you talk.
Julie, Barbara Isa, and Katie Neal Rizzo approached me, I think maybe after
The
our
event?
talk at the library about doing a hike for Progress Norwood, like as a Progress Norwood social, like as a mixer. And so we're doing that on May 24th from 11 to 12. I'm gonna do a loop that goes like from, we're gonna meet like at the sign of the high school, like on Nichols and, you know, right catty corner to your
You mean
house.
where the car is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the total car is. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna meet there, and then take a walk down to Shattuck Park to Father Max, down Germany Brook, up Mount Norwood, and then down through the woods behind the Willet, through the cemetery, back to the high school.
That's a good
In
hike.
1 hour?
Yeah, I did it. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, you did it not
it's
long
only
ago.
like 3 miles, and you know they asked for something that's like an hour, so that was the best one. Where like we could get any weather between now and then, and that
Oh, yeah.
trail is walkable.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah,
The issue is that the number of people
See, who's the
slows it
slowest?
down.
yeah. I mean,
So,
Plus, if you're talking to talk.
I've got more than an hour. You know, I'm happy to take. They asked for something that would take about an hour and like
Okay.
not be too strenuous and be a social. You know, like
Yep.
you
Okay.
know, and
cool.
If you don't stop and talk.
yeah, that was the easiest one I could think of to, you know.
Pretty flat.
Yeah, well, other than Mount Norwood, but
Well, yeah.
yeah, it's also like not. There's one moment where you might get your feet a little wet, right? But it's mostly a sneakers hike. You know, it's not anything. And really, we could get a foot of rain between now and then and probably still be able to do that hike. So I'm
You'd be
exaggerating,
getting rain, you know.
but I
Yeah,
think
we'll get rain.
that one will be fine, kind of no matter what.
Good.
What date
The
again?
24th.
24th of May.
Oh,
That's a Saturday, 11 to noon, you said, right?
Yeah, I mean 11.
So meet at the sign.
11 till it's done.
And we're meeting at the sign, the
The
kiosk there,
Yep.
right at the high
Who's
school.
the audience who's going to
Right
be
in the middle of the
participating?
day.
I would imagine, I don't know if it's like, I would imagine it's families. Let me see if, because Julie had sent me, like from the whatever it says.
You did say it's hosted by Progress
Progress
Norwood.
Norwood.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there'll be
there were
people that are on
co-sponsoring a
her.
local hike, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about like the kids or no kids. I imagine there will be kids there.
I imagine there'll be kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Which will slow you down,
Mm-hmm.
too.
But I mean, again, they're the ones who said an hour. We're going, you
So
know.
we should also indicate that it's not gonna be, you know, pushed, what?
Stroller?
Stroller,
Yeah.
stroller,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
with Julie, so that,
yeah, I think, I told her the loop, like, exactly, so
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be an issue. But yeah, I'll
parents could carry their
Yeah,
younger
yeah.
kids. Yeah, but going up Mount Norwood, that's, and then down the other side wouldn't
I would
be
enjoy
stroller.
seeing that. Yeah.
Well, if need be, you could break the group,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you
Yeah.
probably wouldn't, but just
No.
if need be.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with Julie too and tell her
Yeah.
like, you know, just to be safe, you know, could you send out a
Well,
follow-up
there's an
reminder?
alternate to the woods in the back of.
Yeah, they also don't have to go up Mount Norwood, they can
Well,
go,
yeah,
they can
go
just
Well,
stay
I
in
was
Stony
saying,
Brook.
they could go up Mount Norwood and then down just directly into the cemetery. They don't have to go through the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
True.
I might have to do some weed whacking on the
yeah, I
opposite
think
side.
Joe was talking about doing weed whacking up there in preparation for the Willett School Walk anyway.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So we need to.
That's on the 30th, but anyway, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
get in
So
touch with
that's
Joe and
just 7
see,
days later. So-
try to volunteer to go with him at least, because I need it too.
Oh, and I know Joe Baird's not here right now, but I know they're in the process of setting up the equipment for making sure we have enough supplies in terms of gas and string for the weed whackers and stuff like that right now, so.
And it's worth saying too, out in Canton at the reservation, the dog ticks have been just out of control.
Yeah,
Out of control.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
I've heard
everywhere.
that too.
So,
Is there a difference
So walking
between,
up to
dog
Mount
ticks are
Norwood.
bigger, they don't carry
They're easy
Lyme,
to
but you can
see.
still get sick.
Okay.
They're much easier to see, but they're, you know, and you don't get as sick, but you can still get
they're
sick.
the ones you used to get when you were.
So
a
they don't
kid.
just go after dogs,
Yeah.
they go.
Right,
No,
right.
Don't bark
Well,
at them,
that's
not.
why we need to weed whack.
Yeah, yeah,
the
especially with all the.
Well, and yeah, and if we're gonna have kids, just, you know, tell them about
Grass
it,
height.
Yeah, so-
tell them about a tick check.
Yeah,
I say that because I'm close to grass height.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Chris.
no problem.
So now we are going on to trail marking wayfinding.
Okay, now, I will ask you to fill me in a little bit. As you know, we came late, we had a church commitment, so we came late to the last month's meeting. I'm not sure if you covered, I know you met with Yash from the Boy Scout from Troop 42, who's looking to do some Eagle. Oh, speaking of which, look at this, here's Yash. Is that a weird thing or what?
That
It's
was-
Yash
that's him?
Timing, you must
and
say.
and his
Oh my God.
and his Eagle Scout mentor. So
Nice.
we get
Just said that,
outstanding.
Good to
and
see
You
you.
walk in.
Yeah, that was just too
Perfect
weird. I was just asking him, I said, so I missed the part where Yash did his thing last month, and then there he appears. All right, I was just about to mention that I had,
Brian, can we get these new?
sure.
people,
Oh, yeah,
just
introduce them to the,
say your name, so for the record.
My name's Yash. I'm a junior in high school.
I'm William Tewitt. I'm one of the assistant scout masters with Troop 42.
So Yash, and what was the first?
William.
Jorge? Victor, Jean, Chris, Lee,
Marjorie,
Marguerite,
Brian.
Brian, you know, and
What's
Craig.
his face?
Greg there. So, go ahead, Brian.
all right, well, we were just about to talk about trail marking and wayfinding, and that's why your name came up. It was like it's like, wow, great timing.
Yeah.
I had the joy of going to the pancake breakfast that is a fundraiser for Troop 42 on Saturday, and one of my servers was this young man over here, and so he brought out his Eagle Scout project notebook to show me the progress and everything. And I don't know, this is where I was just about to ask you what you did last month. He and I talked about that he wants to do 3 kiosks. I'm thinking, you know, I don't know if you guys identified them, but I'm thinking there's the one for the park that just opened, the Bernie Cooper Riverfront Park, has one street at the end that does not have a kiosk. The second kiosk then would go probably at the entrance to Meadow Street. And then, you know, if those 2 sound good to the committee as good locations, we would need to pick a third where we would put it. I had thought about the middle school, but that's kind of, since that's still up in the air with construction and we don't know what trails are gonna be there when we're done, you know, it's kind of hard to, I mean, we could put a kiosk there, it would just be, you know, we'd have to have an updated map at some point, and we wouldn't have that to put in the kiosk. So, so I guess I would ask you guys, where's the next place where
Brian,
we've got a working park that we could use a kiosk?
Pine
Wasn't there a
Bars?
kiosk there already? And what happened to it?
Kiosk where?
At the middle school? At the beginning of that trail up through that area?
There was a kiosk that was put in, actually part of an Eagle Scout project.
I thought so.
At the bottom of the hill from what do you call it? Years ago.
So
It's
there's
not there, but
two-
there's one
two-
near the community garden.
Yeah, there's two that were put in a
Right.
little before the pandemic. The one at the community garden, and the one at the end of Ryan Street. I
Ryan
think,
Street,
by
yeah,
the- by
there's
the
that one.
railroad.
So that connects that part. Where I was looking at is someplace down, say, near Hawes, where you're entering some of the stuff back there. But, you know, again,
So
since we're not
that's
prepared to,
conservation property at Hawes.
so we would have to get their permission.
Yeah.
So are we, that was another thing that came up, because I know when we've put things in the past, we've had to go to the landowner for approval, and the landowner could be schools committee, could be conservation commission, could be the town. So the Meadow Street one would be town, right?
Yeah,
And
so the Cooper Town.
the Cooper Park?
is also.
that's town.
But don't they have a lot there anyway?
How many kiosks are gonna be at Bernie Cooper Park?
Well,
Yeah.
There's currently 3.
there's
We've got
Too
3.
many kiosks.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't think they need that.
Well,
See-
there are
So
3
hold on,
streets
hold
that
on,
go down
folks.
there.
Hold on,
so-
folks. Hold on,
You can
folks.
see from one end of the park to the other.
Yeah,
Let's give it a couple,
Okay, all right, okay.
weeks or so.
a little bit of time.
A little bit of time, because the way they've designed it, there's one main kiosk, and then there's, the other 2 are really small. So I don't know if Josh has gotten out to the Bernie Cooper Park to see those that have been up yet, but maybe
I don't think
that
so.
would be a good suggestion if you haven't.
Vic, I heard you say Pine Tree Forest. Where would it go?
Well, that's,
Like,
That's huge.
yeah, like that's my.
I would think, you know, along the banks of the river, you know, down that way, but how do you
Like
get
the
to
Norwood
there?
Garden side?
But by
or
that
the-
time, you're already well into it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You'd have to have it
Well, now-
right where you go down.
Where-
Basically,
Get some
Astor
U-Haul
Street.
Right
out
now,
of
we
it.
can
But
go
what I
in
was
and come
thinking-
out the same place, because now we have a loop through that whole Vanderbilt
Yeah.
area.
Kinda.
Would we want
Yeah.
to have it at the
Kinda.
end of that, you know, where you park, at the end? Is that where
That's-
we'd want to put it?
That would be the logical place.
Yeah.
But that's private, isn't it?
Is that, yeah, we'd have to
Yeah,
find
we'd
out.
have to.
Is that a
Yeah.
business
Cheryl
owner?
Doyle there, I think she manages the park,
Okay.
so we'd
So
have
we
to
would-
talk to her.
Because I mean, I feel like the Norwood Garden side should have one for the sake of the people at Norwood Gardens. You know, like,
Yeah.
like I don't know who owns the land, like where you come in from the Norwood Gardens visitor parking lot and go down that little easement there. That would be a good place for one because there's people around who would see it. But otherwise,
You mean to go over to the Trap Hole Brook?
yeah, and
trail
well,
and all
and
that?
like at the Vanderbilt end, you know, people aren't going over there unless they know what's over there. You
Well, it's
know?
not marked, so
It's marked, yeah, it's marked, but I feel like as a community, the kiosk is a community service,
Yep.
right? Like, we get a more immediate community service from making it closer to the Norwood Gardens side. And frankly, like, that entrance to the trail is more accessible year-round, right? Because like at the Vanderbilt, if it's flooded on either end, you can't go anywhere.
Right.
Right. You're
Right, like,
stuck.
you know, you can go a little bit in, but if the temporary water crossing is flooded and then the trail is flooded, that way, it's done.
Now, is commercial property, that right-of-way is
I really
probably
don't know.
Norwood Gardens would need to
I
give
think
us
it's-
permission?
Oh, that part.
Yeah.
there's even parking.
That would be,
Wasn't sure
yeah.
there was parking available down that way.
I don't know if there technically is, right? There is the
There's
Norwood Gardens
places
visitor
people
lot,
park,
which is
but I
where
don't
we
know.
usually park when we're gonna go in that way, but I don't know what the rules are there, you know?
So we'd have to talk to them anyway,
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if there's not parking, right, the people who live at Norwood Gardens, right, we're giving them a kiosk, right, so they can, right, they're more likely to go in there if they see a kiosk, like,
Yeah.
from
And
their
they know-
houses, right? they're
and they
like,
can
"Ooh,
see the
Kiosk
trails,
means trail,
see the trail
yeah,
on the
right, like,
kiosk.
What, that bridge that's gonna be built, is that one of the first 3? The high
yes,
bridge.
I do believe so.
Good.
The
You know, then
water
that'd be a
I
great
have
loop.
some information on that.
So that'll come up later.
later. But
So-
Okay.
I was just looking at our current maps. There's potential at Ellis Pond.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Ellis would be a good place. I
Uh,
mean, it's
at
not
the
a
new-
long trail.
No, but
It's got
that's,
two
again,
short
our
trails.
community,
Yeah.
you know,
It's got two
service
short
there.
trails.
Even three.
What
One
about,
on either
what
side.
about the playground up north? Is it, what's the name of the one that's on the other side of the road from the animal shelter?
Oh, Ellis Playground.
Ellis
Or-
Playground.
That's Ellis
I get
Playground.
Ellis
That's-
Pond and Ellis Playground
That's
mixed
the
up.
other area.
That was also one that
Well,
trail was
well,
actually an
Those-
Eagle Scout
Those two
project.
don't have
Yeah.
any kiosks.
So-
These have the
Oh, I
two.
thought that
This
one
has
did.
two, but they're on the other side of Winter Street.
Yeah,
And there's no kiosk that I know of. up
down
at-
here.
Oh, at the Willet.
Yeah, I
up
think
at
one of
by
the,
Oh, a kiosk at the Willet.
Senior
Yeah,
Center.
the entrance to the, where the chain is.
Up by Father Max. In other words,
Well, there's a kiosk up by Father Max, but there's nothing showing that going in from the Willet where that trail
Five
is.
entrances.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
Yeah,
actually thinking,
Yeah, that's a good
Ellis.
spot, I think.
I think it gets some use.
There's
Yeah.
signs, but no kiosks.
Yeah, where-
Well, I tell you what,
That's another park you can see.
since it's part of Yash's, plan to do it, I wonder if he has some ideas where he'd like to put it.
No, I'm open to ideas. I was, what?
Yeah, I would recommend going to these spots and thinking like where you think a kiosk would be the most useful, because it's, again, it's what you want to do.
When we were there,
Yeah.
the kiosk
And,
idea
and
came
these
from-
two.
Yeah, the kiosk idea
two
came
those-
from Ellis.
Brian?
That's right.
Gee.
Ellis Playground.
Because Ellis doesn't have one.
Yeah,
And
and
you-
it's
you-
so
So,
big.
and then this
so
one,
cool.
this
So-
Germany Brook,
Static park in the middle of the town. This
So I don't know if you have our
is
maps
less
already,
Playground areas.
but now you do.
OCC has in Mills.
And then,
Does
So
Shattuck
those
have
two-
a kiosk? They do, right? Or no?
so Shattuck is really small,
Oh,
but
it's
this
weird.
one has two kiosks already in it. So you can take that one too.
But it
Yeah, matter of
doesn't
fact,
have
that-
one up at
the-
the Father Max end.
The one you saw off of Winter Street,
Mhm.
that you kind of modeled yours after.
Yeah.
We've got those two at either end, one at Father Max and then one
But
right
not
out
at
to Winter
the
Street.
Willet.
But we don't have one all the way down around like
Uh,
Mount Norwood where you come in from the,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
ball
yes.
field
That's
behind the
another one.
Willet. So that might
That
be a
would be a
good
good
I
place
think
for
that
one.
would be a good one.
And that's populated because
lot
you
of
get a lot
park.
of ball games down there, a lot, you get
A
all
lot
that,
of parking.
yeah.
Yep.
There's parking
Well, and
there.
what you said, when you go into Father Max, you've got the parking area.
Yeah.
You can see the pool changing area, you can see a lot of the park.
Yeah.
And if you had a kiosk
It
in and
would say,
around
"There's
that
a trail
entry-
here."
Yeah, that would
Whereas-
be a very good thing.
That was my basic point. Nobody knows there's a trail.
So do
there.
you
All
like,
the
does
other stuff
does the
is.
committee like the idea of the Meadow Street one? And
Oh,
the-
we should
Yeah,
start.
Meadow Street needs.
And we
one.
may
Yeah.
want to reconsider then what you're talking about. The reason that the Bernie Cooper Riverfront Park was considered is originally, they bought 3 kiosks that match, and each one was going to go at the end of the street. And our kiosk was going to be the entrance to the outdoor classroom coming from the middle school, or coming from the elementary school, from the
Elementary
bulge.
school, yeah.
When they actually said, oh, we need something for the elementary school kids like now, rather than, so they took one of those 3 that were gonna be at the end of each street. So there's one street, I think it's
Yeah.
Joe Street, is St. John maybe?
That's
Where
correct.
there's nothing there. So there's a place where we could put, a more complete kiosk. But since there are 3 there, maybe, Josh's idea of saying, let's put it where they don't have any,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's find
Where
the
they don't
parks
know
where.
about the
Yeah,
trails.
That's the
I
thing.
like Ellis Playground, Father Max, and Meadow Street. If it was up to me, that'd be my 3.
Well, no, there's one at Father Max already, but you're talking
No,
about,
wait a minute.
you're talking about
No,
at the
like,
Willet, at the Willet.
No, like what Marguerite was saying, like at the entrance at Father Max, like
At
where the
Father Max.
pool is, like by the parking lot.
Oh, up where you park to
Yeah.
go to the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
there's
there's
no
all
Got
those
it,
parking
because the one we
Yeah,
have
there's
is,
no sign.
the kiosk that we have is down next to the ball field. You're
Can
saying
it be
have
moved?
something-
Oh, that's a good thought. I
That
don't
might
know. I don't
be
know
one.
how those things are moved.
Let's talk about his project.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I like it.
Well, that's
Meadow,
part of
Ellis,
his
Junior
project.
Brook.
Figuring out.
Okay.
This just came to me near the Callahan. There's like a little. Is that like qualified enough for?
Basic thing, Josh, you're gonna design 3 and build 3 kiosks. What goes on them
Yeah.
can be actually, and where they go can actually be decided later. But it would be a good idea to take a walk around and see what these places look like. And see, am I going to be dealing with ledge here? Am I going to be dealing with a swamp?
Yeah.
Or is this going to be a reasonable place to drill some holes and get this stuff in there? So, and then your opinion counts, for goodness sake. What do you think?
I like it.
On the spot.
And you don't have to decide on the spot, because I think what we're saying is that we've done some work.
Yeah.
There are some kiosks.
Yeah.
We might even have more than we need in Bernie's new park, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But we have some resources that will help get a jump start on the ones that are gaps in our system. And
Well, now, the advantage we had with the Cooper Park is there's some money that was set aside for wayfinding that
Which
we
was
know
great.
that's where you could get money. I don't know, you'd have to do, the fundraising becomes more of an issue for the other kiosks, right? We have some trail signs.
as I
So
understand,
that's
that's
part
the
of
fundraiser.
part of the.
I am
John,
a fundraiser.
Yeah, that's up to
Part of
you.
that. Now, the other thing I did want to ask Yash is, do you have some sort of the procedure to where you've got to go with your ready-made plan to get it approved by an Eagle
proposal.
board ahead of time? What do you need from us? For example, one of the things we discussed, was who owns the land depends on, whose permission you need to get. If it's town, it's relatively easy because we're an advisory board to the town manager and to the to the town. So that is something that we've got connections, so to speak. If it was a conservation commission land, for example, then you'd have to go before their board, and they only meet, every 3 weeks? So that might be a determination depending on your timeline for when you need to have these,
Yeah. Using Meadow, Ellis, and Jeremy Brook, like one of those is conservation.
Yeah, I'd assume that you're likely to need to appear,
Yeah, probably.
but probably not need a permit. I
Yeah.
think that's what we did
For
for others.
For conservation, you mean, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Explain what you're doing.
Yeah, they
Right.
just sort of said
And
what
the
we're
selectmen
doing, and
usually
they'll-
like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna put it on town land, they like to see a short slideshow, like a 5-minute thing of your plan.
Probably not even that.
Yeah,
paragraph or two,
so,
I say,
picture in a paragraph.
I would need obviously your approval to get it done, like so I can propose it to the Eagle board, and then obviously I made designs, like using what we have. I'll just pass this around.
Okay.
It's the one using Father Max and the one near end of Westwood. I'm not good with streets, but that one.
the one off Winter
Yeah,
Street,
Winter-
right?
Winter Street,
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't like rulers?
What?
You don't like rulers? But I get what it is.
So why don't you put that into an email and circulate it,
Mhm.
group,
that's
and we can all
nice.
have a look at it.
Got
Looks
it.
good to me.
So,
Yeah, I have
yes.
this whole proposal. I'll send it to everybody.
You should send the email to
Summary
our
of what we do.
committee chairman, Joe, and then he'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Joe's
I've
email
already
already.
sent it to Joe.
Yeah, so Joe's already got it, he just
So-
hasn't
so
forwarded it.
Joe will resend it to us.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
And,
good.
and we even have like some sort of mechanical drawing kind of thing
Yeah.
that we can.
Mechanical
we
what?
can- Like a mechanical drawing. In other words, he's got a sketch there. I don't know if he wants something more formal. You know.
Like a drawing that a shop would use to make that kiosk
Yeah.
before they send it.
Sorry,
to
like an
us.
he
architectural
doesn't,
drawing.
he doesn't.
He doesn't need that.
I don't think it's quite that
Yeah.
formal.
No, right.
It's just more like main cabin masters.
So
Yeah.
So it's in your head.
basically, what we can see is like, okay, maybe a 6'4" man will be right up there, if that's the ground.
Yeah.
He's got an
And
8 foot.
then, instead of the 8 foot, and I think you have it out.
You
pretty
gotta
well.
worry about the 4'7".
Yeah,
Towering
We get
over
used
the
to
street.
looking
Well,
at
that's,
underneath the
that's
rain.
another thing, is like, sometimes they get too high.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
show, then children or younger adults might not be able to see.
Or
us.
older adults.
Or older adults. Harder.
So the 8-foot measurement really just came from, that's how the 4x4s come.
It's a
They-
standard length,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it can always be dropped down.
Yeah.
well, and you might,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
you might be putting some underground. I noticed that the
Sure,
the
well,
one
I
up there
think
has a
there's a
stake
lot
rather than
of
burying it.
Measured from the ground in
Yeah,
that
the
drawing.
design that we
That's
went
the
with, there's metal stakes that you actually hammer into the ground that they go 3 feet into the ground and they hold the 4x4s in place.
Got it.
So no digging involved, nothing. that-
So you pound the stake in, you're saying?
Yeah.
And it's
So the pound, so it's a diamond stake and it goes into the ground 3 feet.
Right.
And then the 4x4 gets drilled into that.
But the 4x4 doesn't go below ground. You're
No.
saying it stays on top of that thing?
Yes.
So,
Like a
so, well,
porch.
that's a great idea as far as not having rot, but, is it more prone to being pushed over?
No, it is structurally.
No, with
stable.
a, no, with a 3 foot.
So with the anchor,
It-
with
it's
the
3
anchor in the
feet.
ground, it's gonna,
There's no way you're pushing that over.
Yeah.
all right.
Especially with, so it's gonna be attached on both sides and then drilled in all the way. in.
Oh, okay.
It'll be,
All right,
it'll
cool.
be secure.
Be interesting to see. Yeah,
That'll
that's-
be good.
That's a definite improvement on our plan.
So we actually sat down with the, one of the partners of Twin Peaks Construction, which is one of the committee members. You know John.
Yeah.
And he's actually the one that made the drawing that you guys, we all sat down and made the drawing together. And came through the list and wrote up the stock list. And came up with the
Nice.
numbers
Okay.
for each one of these kiosks.
In
as
total-
of present day.
Yeah, in total, it came out to 1,500
Yeah.
for 3.
I know his,
Yeah,
when he
sounds
says
right.
numbers, I said, gee, ours was a little bit lower for the kiosk, but now I understand he's
Well,
got
he's saying for
some
3.
nice, good stuff here, you know.
Gotta buy it quick.
that- Well, it's like 500 each, and I think our price was somewhere between 300 and 400 or something, so.
Right.
But, you
We're in
know,
the same ballpark.
but, you know, it's.
I asked
Yeah.
Mr. Greeley, since you guys are connected to the town, does the town have any money? Because I'm providing it to the town.
So I had spoken with Joe earlier. Didn't know that he was in Ireland. But surprisingly, when he
He
told
answered.
me, yes, he answered. I said,
He
"Oh,
did
okay,
answer.
Very
we can talk
responsive.
later." He's like, no, I got time now.
He wouldn't answer if I called.
So we talked quickly about this, and he said that the budget renews in I think July or something,
Right.
and there would be possibly some money accessible to put aside to the kiosks.
Wow.
Well,
So-
we'd have to
July
find
1st.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fiscal year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a good thing, and it's something that's negotiable as the time rolls around, because I know a lot of the conversation in the town paper lately has been, well, we have some free cash, but we want to be very careful not to spend all of it. It's just interesting.
And I
true.
feel like I would do myself an injustice if I didn't
When it
mention
comes
that
to some departments, it's not.
That's true.
Oh,
that Yash is on a time frame now that he is 17
Yeah.
and has 11 months to. He has to
That's a lot of
complete
work
this.
to do in 11 months.
Yes.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that we can try to cut through as much of the red tape as we can to.
well, now, do Eagle boards meet in the summer too, or are we trying to meet at like a June deadline?
So they meet every third Thursday.
My goal was to get it by the end of this May.
Okay.
Which we'll have to.
That
Yeah.
might
talk
be
about that.
challenging, yeah.
But the main goal is to have the project complete and paperwork turned in before his 18th birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And what if
Maybe
it
even
doesn't,
done.
what, you can't, it doesn't count?
Then Will's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much time do you have?
Yeah, that's an
11
official.
months.
He's got 11 months, so.
11 months?
Yeah,
Oh.
so,
It
he's.
sounds
he-
like a lot of time, but it's.
Yeah, I know.
Goes quick.
It creeps up on us.
Having gone through that path myself,
Well,
you're right.
well, and I remember Will had to finish his project in the middle of COVID, right?
Yeah. No, it was just before COVID.
Oh, did you? Oh, you finished it just before?
I got it wrapped up just before.
So it was your Eagle Court of Honor that was COVID,
Yes.
period, yeah.
Well, in all of our projects, because they're trails projects, they're very reliant on weather. And I was thinking about what happened with Bernie's Park opening and how it poured that day.
A little
And
bit.
we had it in school, right? And I looked at the river the next day and it was like, oh, that's up a foot or two.
It's going fast, too.
So, so we have to be sensitive to that too, because you may not be able to do the work exactly when you plan.
Yep.
So
So,
we actually there's already a plan in place to
Good.
build these at Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay.
The John shop. And
Assemble.
then just assemble them there and then just plop them into the ground. Wow. So even if it's raining, we'd be able to hammer those stakes in and then
Yeah.
plop
Yeah,
those in.
generally, most trailheads are more upland
They're
than.
elevated.
They're not gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we gotta get a little wet, go swimming a little bit to get to.
all right.
Can we quote you on that?
So now, do you want to go investigate some of these things
Yeah.
and kind of pick
So
where you
do
think the
wanna-
best place would be, and then, we
He was
touch
about
base?
to answer.
We actually drove around and checked out a couple of these places a couple weeks ago, and we had looked at Father Max, and we talked about it briefly, and then we came up with that there's already a kiosk here. But now understanding, you know, it would be a good idea to have one at the parking lot. That's one of the places that we had talked about. And then obviously Ellis Playground
Yeah.
is where the whole conversation kind of started.
Yeah, symbolically, I think one needs to go there.
Yeah.
And then,
And literally as
well,
well.
and if you do one at the Willet, at the other end of that whole trail thing, you've got your three.
Yeah,
You know,
but I think that's your idea about Meadow Street
Meadow is a must.
and,
oh, Meadow Street, well, that would be a
Yeah.
fourth one.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
But-
you could look at those 4 sites and then
Pick.
decide
Pick 3.
which 3.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll turn
Something
it
along
down.
those lines.
Well,
or is somebody, Vic, were you the one that suggested moving it? Moving the one that's.
Moving the one Father Max up
that's
to
for-
the
Yeah,
trailhead.
putting it up closer.
Well, I mean, because the one on Winter Street is helpful if you're coming in that
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, the one on Winter Street.
Oh, but, yeah, right.
Yeah,
the
we're
other
talking
one.
about the one that's
Yeah,
down,
yeah, right.
hidden.
Top of the hill
You don't see it till you're past the
Right,
pool.
right, right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
Right by that road that goes behind the pool.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you put it right there.
yeah. So if I think about that, you're probably right. If we do Meadow Street, Ellis, and,
You're talking Ellis down by the highway, not Ellis on Nickel Street and Walpole Street.
well, I'm not sure which
Because
one
we
were
got
you
two
thinking.
Ellis's.
No, Ellis Playground. Like,
Ellis
Playground.
Ellis
So-
Playground,
so the
not
one
Ellis
up-
Pond.
so
Then we'll
Ellis
look at
Playground.
Pond then, too.
Meadow Street, and the third one would be,
Yeah, there's the Nickel Street entrance. Is that worth
Well,
a kiosk?
no, you don't
No.
really need one at the Nickel Street entrance. It's a short enough trail.
And
It's
you
in
can
and out,
see
it's
it.
about a third of
Yeah.
a mile.
Visible. You get
Yeah,
there, you
you-
park the car, you can see
Yeah,
it.
you can just about see the pond. But the others,
I'm even rethinking Meadow Street, because like Meadow Street, the kiosk there is the biggest service to us as a community, or as a committee. However, right, like as a youth organization, right, the places that we've mentioned are all, they're schools, right? They benefit kids, right, to have one at Father Max,
And they're gonna be aware of them.
right, like, and
or
kids
the
and
one at the
families.
Willet at least, even if
Yeah.
we didn't do the one up at the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm just kind of
The
thinking,
one at the
like,
Willow.
again, like, as giving back to the community, right, like, it's giving back to kids and families, whereas like Meadow Street, we really want that one, and we really need that one. Maybe we should be the ones to do it.
We should build that one.
You know, I don't know.
And I agree
Neon
with you
lights.
as far as schools, because we
Yeah.
had said we want to have the biggest impact we can have, and when parents get involved in supporting their kids walking,
Yeah.
it kind of draws in all of the family unit, if you will.
Yeah, and if they're at pickup, they see the kiosk, they say, oh my gosh, there's trails here, we should do that.
All right.
this is a step forward from, you mean Norwood has trails?
Right.
Oxymoron.
Okay.
Getting better.
All right, so we definitely want one at the Ellis Playground.
Got it.
All right, so that one's covered. So we just need to figure out the other two.
Yes.
And we had thought about, I mean, we could, if we wanted to put two, we've got one at the parking lot at Father Max, and we can do one at the Willet. We've got both ends of that trail covered. Do we want to do two at one location this time around, or, do we want to go to a third place?
I still think Meadow Street
Do
is the
do we really
key.
need to make this
Drawing
decision
adults
tonight?
and
No,
kids.
no.
We don't
We
don't-
necessarily,
we can
but
let
it's
but
Josh's
because
decision, it's
he's
not
trying to
us.
get to his
Right,
Eagle
yeah, yeah.
board before the end of the
Do
month.
can let
you need-
Yash
do you
make
need-
So-
Do you need to know where they're going for the Eagle Board?
Kind of what we need is you guys to be on the same page,
Yeah.
so when we talk to Joe, I scheduled a meeting with him when he gets
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when he can sign off on his project, so
Yeah.
Josh can go in front of the board.
I think you tell Joe where you want to put them, and he'll sign off on it.
Got it.
He's always the one who's saying like it should be something you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
And the community needs,
And
yeah.
you've heard a lot of like talk here, so you can actually bring
Yeah.
that to help just make Joe's decision a little easier for her.
Got it.
Well, I think the building it is the main thing, and the location, combine the group and them to
Yeah.
figure
Yeah.
out where the
Yeah.
best location
Okay.
is to be.
Yeah.
And it can be when Joe gets back. Who knows?
And it really doesn't
I mean,
need to be
we don't wanna
cast in
slow you
stone
down.
until you
Right.
put it in the ground.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
When it will literally be cast in stone in most places.
And if you've got, if you've got your preliminary places, if it shifts later, you at least got your approvals and
Yeah.
everything from the, you know,
Yeah,
and,
so-
and a lot of Eagle projects, you know,
Yeah, the project's
they
allowed
expect
to
things.
shift a little bit,
Right.
like the location of where it's gonna go, so he can be signed off and approved by the Eagle Board.
Yeah.
And we can shift the location of where the actual
And I
kiosk.
think it's important how it goes on the, you know, if you're thinking at the Father Max, and how it's oriented and, you know, exactly where it is. So maybe that can shift a little bit just to optimize that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And just because it came up as part of when we created when we had our wayfinding subcommittee put things together and decided how we want trail markers, we would like, you know, maybe we find the funding for this ourselves, but we would like a plaque on each of that identifies it as an Eagle Scout project and whose
Yeah.
project it was.
Yeah.
And what troop.
With your name
and what
on it.
troop, yeah. And
Not
so-
just Eagle Scout Project.
So,
your
it,
name
you know,
on
it would say Eagle Scout Project by so-and-so with troop, of
Now,
troop, whatever.
We had one project where they just furnished it into the actual wood. So-
Oh, that's true. They,
The bridge.
our water crossing, they actually did it with a
Yep.
router, I
With a
think.
router.
or-
That
With
was
a
very
router,
inventive.
burning it
Wow.
in.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you want to just put
I don't know
a,
if
yeah,
I'm not.
you know, if you want to put if you want to put a plaque on
Okay.
one of the legs or
I
something.
think a plaque would be
You know,
good.
something like that. I've got
Plaque is fine.
an example I can show you. But,
So, yeah.
so cool.
Okay, good, Brian.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you, Yash.
Thank you.
Do you need anything else from us before we close out this part of the agenda?
No, I think I'm good. I just
Before
have
we
to talk
kick you,
to,
I mean,
just gotta talk to Mr. Reilly, get the beneficiary approval, and then
Cool.
council approval with the Eagle Board, and I'm all set.
Cool.
Alright. So I think we gained a lot of information from the meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
And you want to
Thank
put
you.
those maps there in your book? You know,
Yeah, probably a good
you know, because you'll be able to show the Eagle Board. you know.
Shattuck doesn't need one?
yeah,
It's too small.
It does have one
That'll
at
be the
one
next
end,
year's
but
Eagle
it's,
Scouts.
it's a, it's a
don't
small,
think-
it's a very small park too, you know, so the ones where people kind of need something to see
They
at
have
the
no
beginning
idea
of the
it's
trail.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice, so.
All right.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you
much.
very
Very
much.
good, thanks for coming. Thank you for your work.
And
Tony
good
said that
timing.
too.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
that was incredible. That was like da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
He doesn't need this, does he?
Stars align.
And just a point of personal privilege or pride, Yash was one of my Cub Scouts in Pac 42 at the First Congregational Church, so
Wow.
it's so neat to see that, you know, I was there for his crossover from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts,
He's a
and
big-
and now he is
big
going
man.
for his Eagle Scout, so.
This is great.
That's wonderful.
Big boy put it on.
Thank you.
Pants.
Yeah.
Thanks
you.
a
Good
lot.
luck with your project.
See you later.
Yeah, take care.
Matter of fact, Will was too, by the way, he was a Cub Scout in the back.
Natural
So that's
progression.
neat. So, yeah. So it's cool that, like, one of the Cub Scouts that was one of the first ones to cross over in our Cub Scout pack is now mentoring
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
a
great
later
idea.
scout, and
Could
it's
you
just,
become a
it's
Boy
wonderful
Scout
to see
without
it.
being a Cub Scout?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, anybody at any age can join scouting.
You could.
It's just,
Can we move on then?
Good.
so
Yep.
we're-
Can't go the
Okay,
reverse.
Yeah. I-
We
No.
really have, our next agenda item calls for a tie-out trail update, and I don't know if anybody has anything on that. I don't have anything new on tie-out trail.
I walked the trails in the past month, or some trails. I did my annual City Nature Challenge that is done on iNaturalist.org, and I include a few properties in my survey. So, Endine, part of the trail from Willett to roughly where the landfill is.
Okay.
And the third one was Hennessy, of course. So I got to those three. And the general thing I noted was that the foliage seemed to have come in about a week earlier than recent past. Especially the maples, they seem to have burst. There's been plenty of rain. Temperatures have been pretty good. The only thing I would have thought would have slowed it down was not a lot of sun, just from all the cloudy and
Yeah,
drizzly
yeah.
days that we've had. But
Didn't seem to,
But you're saying it's starting to green up earlier in the spring than it has in the past? Is that what you
To
said?
this year.
This year?
Yeah, I'm not making any long-term
Yeah.
forecasts.
Got it.
You
Just,
see all the Jack in the pulpits everywhere? They're
yeah,
everywhere right
that's
They're
another thing
starting
I did
everywhere.
notice.
Really? I've
Oh,
got one
yeah.
in my yard.
Oh my gosh, they're
Where are you finding them?
all over the place at Pine Tree Forest, and then everywhere in the trail behind the Willet, and between the Willet and the cemetery, just
Oh,
Yeah.
everywhere.
son of a gun.
Hennessy has them too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, like solitary. You
That's
have to
great.
kind of really look for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Didn't see any really odd, like rare things this time around. Saw wood frog at Moose Hill, so
Nice.
that's good.
That
Not
might have been
Norwood.
the one we saw 2 weeks ago when we were in the Warner Trail, up on Moose Hill too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that
Were you
was
on the Pine Tree Trail?
Whatever the Warner Trail goes, we're on the Warner Trail.
No, it's on the other side, I think.
Yeah.
And we also saw turkey.
Oh, yeah, there's the turkey.
A lot of
Yep.
turkeys this
A lot
I
year.
was on
turkeys
Germany
around.
Brook like at dusk the other day, and the spring peepers were still going nuts.
I didn't hear
Which was
them.
really cool to hear.
Huh.
But, yeah, so in general, they're in good shape. I know Patty last month did a round and picked up a bag or two of trash. It was about a week before Earth Day.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, that's the other thing that happened this month. That's right, Earth Day.
oh, yeah.
We don't have, yeah, well, let's go on to the next item, which is Concom water crossings, because this should take that too long. I put this up on the screen showing
Oh, my goodness.
the next 3 water crossings that are, that went up to the last meeting of the Conservation Commission, and they approved these. So that is going to,
And these are ones we're building with the community preservation money?
that's correct. So what we have here is, the first one on the bottom is the large airport trench. River's going northbound, which is up to the, going
To
up
the
a little
right.
bit to the right. So we come in from Meadow Street down on the left, and we encounter the first large airport trench where we can't get across that. So that's gonna be the first one going in. But all 3 of these were on the same filing. So those are, have been approved, 1, 2, 3, they'll go in sequentially. And we're working on procurement of materials and also a strategy on how to affect it getting to the site. So I don't have a lot of details because that's Joe Barrett and Joe Greeley sort of managing that, but really it's Joe Barrett's area that he's given a lot of thought into how we would put those in and the designs and all that. So I think that that application went through pretty smoothly with the Concom. So
Will that get us to the skating club?
that will get us not quite to the skating club because we still have Purgatory
Purgatory
Brook,
Brook.
which is the next major
Next major
crossing.
crossing.
To get over before we get to the skating club.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and that's the one right at the confluence with the
But there's a
Neponset.
lot of great blowdowns these days. There's so many ways across this.
Well, if you want to balance away a
yeah.
fallen tree,
Yeah.
let's
So
not.
This will get us, I don't know, you weren't on that, we had a walk last fall where we had maybe almost 20 people. Jerry was on that,
Yeah, yeah,
remember?
yeah.
And we walked all the way out to the confluence and back because
Wow.
it was low water.
Yeah.
And these crossings were dry at
Wow.
that point because the river was so low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was during the period where I could do the whole
Yeah.
tie-out trail because of that. Even crossing the river up at, in the Pine Tree Forest area, I just had a little bit, 4 inches of
Wow.
water there to cross.
6 inches of mud.
So there's some gravel bed there, so it wasn't really that muddy,
Wow.
so, yeah.
Levy, you don't have any sense of timetable on this from Joe or Joe?
So that was just a week or so ago, that meeting,
Okay.
and that there has to be like I think there's like a 14-day wait period, and then the order of conditions get issued,
Okay.
and then we're good to go.
Because I know we're on a pretty tight timetable if we need Jerry to be there, right? Like he's
Yeah,
on.
they're coordinating that with Jerry
Okay,
too.
great, great.
So he was actually part of
Oh,
that
excellent,
discussion.
excellent. Because
So-
he's like out in
Yeah.
like late June or something, but, you know.
But he's got a couple times he's gonna be back in town.
Oh, okay.
For short periods in July, I think.
So we know
Or
exactly
at
when it's
least
gonna
one.
rain.
No.
July should be good.
So, actually, that's gonna be, you know, a big consideration around the height of the river in order to do these, the site work.
Yeah.
So once the river gets down to a point where that the first trench is dry, the others should be a little easier. We can get the footings put in, and then if we don't even get the deck in right away, at least the footings will be in. We can, you know,
Are
we
these
can-
sites accessible by some sort of vehicle, so you don't have to
No.
lug the?
No.
You gotta
No.
carry it
No.
all?
Canoe.
So,
Canoe.
Oh, a canoe, all
so
right.
Yeah.
you can see the first trench
Follows
is
the
the
river.
farthest one, because Signal Hill is near the second large trench, and we're likely to just do a bearing across from Signal Hill canoe area.
Okay.
That's about a,
So we could put it on a couple of canoes, straddle it, and row it over?
That is optimistic.
We'll go to Fiji Islands.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, we're good.
so you could probably just float it across.
Yeah.
most likely.
Yeah.
I
And if we
can't
get-
read the-
I know they had talked about that, you know, maybe
If
getting
we
there.
get the
from-
last two bridges, you know, crossing the Germany Brook and then by the dog kennel, will we be able to end
mean
at the dog?
Purgatory?
Not Germany, Purgatory.
You don't.
Purgatory, excuse me, yeah. Will we be able to end at the dog kennel? Do we have
So
approval?
currently that comes up behind it and then out to University Ave. So,
Right.
So we don't end there, we just keep going out to University Ave.
But would that be a good place to park?
There's no parking at University Ave.
No, I'm saying
you-
at
you meant at the
where
animal
the
shelter.
old waterworks was, and
I don't know about that.
should we be working on that?
That's a good thought.
That would be asking the town if that's possible,
That's a
right?
town
Yeah.
issue.
The animal
Yeah, it's
shelter
certainly
in
a
the
town
town.
issue,
But
but
it's
Yeah.
also a very dangerous
building.
outlet there going on Route 1.
Yeah, that's true.
So
At 50
currently
miles an hour.
we've cited
Well, that
the
could be a start and a
trail.
finish to Meadow.
Yeah.
We're citing the trail behind that and over to University Ave, right, right above Central Motors. You can see it come out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So,
Hmm.
Yeah, we could also be working on like, you know, some deal with the skating club about parking or whatever, you know, like there's.
But if we had approval by the animal shelter and they
I mean,
moved
it's
the
town,
fence in.
that seems easy because it's a town, it's not a
Yeah.
third party, right, it's the same.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's a little bit beyond this. Going forward, we've done this filing. The next three have been identified, and that process with the next three is beginning as well. So not even once these get done, we're on the route
Yeah.
to adding up to 10 or 12 of these water crossings.
And are they
in the
all-
next year and a half or so.
Are they all Conservation Commission land up through there, or is there a reason that we only had them approve the three?
So anywhere there's water, the river, we have to go conservation, independent of whether they own it.
Oh, whether they have the land,
Yeah,
got it,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So do you know why, you know, since I think we get like 12 altogether or
Yeah,
something when we're
because
done?
we're near water.
No, I get that, but no, what I'm asking is why, when you went to their approval, did we only get 3 approved?
So
Is
we
it
asked
doing in
for it.
stages?
Yeah, we're just going.
A little at a time.
We
We're
were
not doing the whole
spacing the
thing at
work.
once. It's a lot of work.
Oh, got it.
Because there's
So it's the
engineering-
timing about how.
There's
how-
engineering, site work, a lot of site work with the conservation agent coming out, proving the design. We get the engineering groups, Mark Ryan engineering to do this, do the drawings, so we have something very accurate to work
Got
from.
it, okay. So it's a logistical thing, the reason
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
only doing 3 at a time. Got
And it
it.
is a lot of work for
Yeah,
even
no, I
these
figured.
three. so.
And what about the endangered species that was, or plant that was at one of the bridges?
Gee, Dick, would you report on that? I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe after the town meeting last night, and he was saying that they found some sort of,
It's just a grass.
a
It's
grass, yeah. So they have to, and he's trying to drive this to get you have to have a certified whatever person come out and bid on it.
So from what I understand, that grass is nowhere near these sites currently, other than it's on this, and the large aspect
flood
is somewhere
plain.
there.
Yeah.
We're not gonna identify its location.
And you'd have to have a master's degree in botany to identify this grass.
It's a
as
sedge.
opposed to others. Yeah. Oh my God.
It's some sort of a sedge.
Yeah.
But I guess Joe said we have to do it, we have to hire someone to say
Well,
this,
so what
okay.
they'll do is they go out to each site and
Yeah.
they look for the sedge and identify
Within
that
a
it's
certain
not
radius.
there.
Yeah,
So that
okay.
we're not impacting it at our sites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
They
all
may
we
be
want.
elsewhere, but not necessarily.
Right, so we would utilize this person to
Yes,
make sure that we're not in that area. And it's not endangered, it's
endangered.
threatened.
it's
I thought it's
qualified
not threatened.
No, it's
endangered or
endangered.
something.
It's on the endangered species
Oh, they-
plant list.
I thought Trump wiped out the whole category.
This is a state. It's a
Couldn't
Commonwealth.
try.
Commonwealth,
Talk to the
Commonwealth endangered.
All right, so,
One
so
quick
we're,
question.
yeah,
If these, are these going to be sort of at the same level as the surrounding land, or are they gonna go up and over and allow for canoe passage? You're talking about,
yes.
yes, thank you. Okay.
So they're designed to be crossable up to a certain level of the river. On our gauge, it's 11 feet, so it's basically about the level of the trail itself.
Yeah, okay.
So,
So if you wanted to get a canoe there, you'd have to drag it over the top of your cross.
Well, there's no
Yeah.
place you would canoe back there.
What you were
for
just saying, you're
crossing,
gonna
right?
put your
The
stuff
canoe-
on a canoe. to
No,
get
but
it
I'm
out.
saying the canoe, we're not crossing the Neponset River. That's the only place you'd canoe. Any of these these outlets
These
that
are-
are, they're just,
mostly they're
they're just
drains.
drains.
Okay, these are
They're just
drainage.
Could
ditches.
go back there, but I don't.
Yeah,
know
we're
why
just
you
crossing
want to.
ditches, so.
Actually,
Yeah.
this middle trench,
Yeah.
you can sort of see it has a,
That's what I call the sickle.
we call it the sickle, right?
Yeah,
And
Right there.
at
Not
high
small.
water, that is
Okay.
actually navigable by small watercraft.
Yeah. You can also see my road in there too.
But
Mhm.
it's, yeah, it's really the only interesting area to potentially move back on.
Only that you were talking about getting your materials from point A to point B using a canoe.
Oh, we were just
or
talking about
perhaps
if we
a
went
raft.
from Signal Hill and brought it across
Oh, okay.
Neponset to get to where we needed. But,
Yeah, I would think we'd just like float them in the river, tie a line and pull them across.
make a
Yeah,
raft,
right. I
you
mean,
know.
they float.
It's wood.
That's what water's ropes for.
so.
You don't even need to
Okay.
put them in a.
So have a couple of us on one side and toss the rope
The rope
across
is
to
only
the guys on the other
river,
side.
50 feet
waiting.
across or something.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Make
Let's
it
do
easy.
it. Let's do it, man.
So,
Just throw
so
the-
anyway.
throw the boardwalk in the river.
Logistically wise, the particulars are being considered and worked out as we talk, so.
But it seems like we're gonna get these
This
before
season,
the fall.
I hope so.
We hope so.
A lot is gonna depend on, you know,
Weather.
being, I guess, ready with the materials to go out there
Yeah.
at some point when the river's gonna be at the right point, so that we can float it across, and then, so that we can actually do the site work.
Should we, when we have those specialists come out, have them look at the fourth bridge and maybe the fifth bridge to get it over with?
Hey, while I got you.
So,
While I got you, yeah.
so my understanding, because those other sites are not in the area of the endangered
Okay,
species, so it wouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
When I was looking into this, did you know in the official record of the Commonwealth, there has not been a box turtle reported in Norwood since 1986. Doesn't mean they're not there, it means nobody's reported them, and I
Well-
really think we gotta change that.
They're hard to find.
Yeah, sure,
I mean,
but
they
I
really
mean,
are.
We gotta find one, guys. We gotta, 1986.
Hoping they're
come on.
there, yeah, hoping they're still there,
Do
right?
we
All
know
right, can we
where?
move on?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's
Um,
next?
Going to number 6, Norwood 101, I think we already put that one to bed. Warner
Did you-
Trail.
did you talk about that?
I don't know why Norwood Warner Trail Track.
Yeah,
me and
what
Joby
did you
are
think
on
of
this.
101, though? You were there most of the time.
Yeah, we talked about it last time we were here, didn't we?
No.
Oh, was it in April?
Now, this
Did
is
you
the
talk
things
about-
we've already completed, so.
Yeah, we completed those.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But
There
what
was-
did you wanna say, Vic, about Norwood 101?
Well, there was a lot of vendors, not many people.
No. I think you're right about the parking lot. They gotta tell everybody not to park in the library parking lot.
Yeah,
Got it.
that was a real problem.
Yeah.
You know, even before it started, because all the
Parking
vendors
lot's
were
full.
taking all the spaces.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad idea when you have 20, 30 booths that, you know, you have time to communicate with all these different booths.
Yeah.
But you'd rather have the new people, and the year before, we had a ton of new people.
Yeah.
It might be
Bernie.
worth, yeah, well,
Yay.
one suggest,
Yay, Bernie.
it might be worth asking, like, maybe the First Congregational Church across the way, can the vendors use that parking lot and walk across
Bernie,
to the library?
Or a new location right here.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know you were at the event on Friday.
Yes, I was. It was a wonderful event. I was shocked. My guess would be 20 people inside. There must have been 200 people
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
inside.
very well.
They had a
I
great.
was not expecting the parking lot to be full. I was
Oh
like,
my
a rainy
God.
afternoon, there's no way. I got
Yeah.
to roll in right at 4:30 and just walk in and
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
say
what
hi
I
to Vic
thought.
and then eat some cookies.
It was
And
pretty
maybe
good. It was
the
like the
last
who's
of the,
who of
like,
Norwood in
3
there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And there was quite a
The
range of
lot was
ages.
very full.
Oh, there sure
Yes.
was. It was
Yeah.
nice to see so many people too.
Yeah,
you know,
everybody's
that you
family.
knew and you hadn't seen them for a while.
Yeah.
And the program was wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed.
It was it was an A+ in my
Yeah,
estimation.
it was well done.
So I just want to thank everybody at our table here because we were all there.
Yeah, we were.
Oh, wow, that's right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single one of us was
everyone
at that
was
event.
at that.
Yeah, it was a
So
good event.
it
Now,
was a good
now,
thing.
the young woman who spoke, was that Bernie's daughter?
Bernie's
One of
daughter.
them
Yeah.
was.
She-
That was,
she did
Amelia,
Yeah.
who,
She did a remarkable, it was
Yeah,
just
that was
Yeah, she
very
did.
really,
Yeah.
really
Amelia's Bernie's
heartwarming.
youngest daughter.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
so that's kind
You
of the
gotta
highlight
mention.
of it.
Pardon?
You got a mention in one of the speeches.
I did.
Yeah, I forget. It was the garden, no, yeah, maybe the garden club
and
you spoke?
correct me if I'm wrong, but our videographer, they did tape this event? the
Yes,
Cooper
they did.
Somebody did.
Good.
Park, and is it up on the, on demand, as far as we know? Any idea?
I have no idea, but it should be.
It should be available on the
Sounds like we can call
NCM.
and ask if we don't see
The
it.
event.
I never know when they're gonna be up. The ones I want to see are on at 3 in the morning.
That's the
No,
Trails
you go on-
Committee.
You go on demand and just pull them down.
And one other kind of interesting thing about the event, there were a few hardy individuals that followed a group that went out to actually go in the rain and tour the park.
They
Yes,
did.
yes,
If I
they
had
did follow us, didn't they?
I had been home for 5:30. I was definitely gonna go out for a walk.
It
no matter
actually
how hard
wasn't,
It was raining, but
walking on the path
time.
wasn't that difficult in those conditions because the paths are so well
Yeah.
designed. They were, for the most part, only 1 or 2 areas that were a little bit
They were
lower
pretty.
that had a little bit of water on them.
Can
I
you-
think they're gonna work on making sure those are raised up to the right level.
I still haven't been there since that dreadfully cold day we went there in January. or
Yeah,
February.
yeah.
neither
Oh,
have
so
I.
much better. You know
Is
we're
there
pouring
access
in.
from the bulge now?
Yes, they've opened up
They
the
opened it up,
gate,
okay,
the
good.
fencing,
Okay.
so you
Yeah.
go straight in.
Yeah.
Right to where the outdoor school room is.
And then depending on the town meeting Thursday, there'll be a ramp that will get you from the parking lot down to the lower level and into the Bernie Cooper Park.
And that's because it's a CPC project?
It's a CPC project, yeah, we
Yeah.
vote on it Thursday or next Monday or Tuesday, whatever.
Now,
comes
now the
first.
only thing I would say though, where they took down the gate, there is a cement step up.
yeah.
So that would have to be contoured if you're gonna be able to get a wheelchair through
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
that'd be like another
Step out,
project.
probably.
And they
Yeah.
should, because the whole park is pretty much
I mean, if you just
accessible.
move that cement block out of the way, you'd be able to roll a wheelchair,
Yeah.
but it might be worth a little ramp there.
Well, having not been out there, I need to know, is it a loop? Because somebody was asking me today, and I said, I didn't know.
It's wide open.
It's a
this year.
zigzag. You can go all the way around the outside, and there's several cross paths.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
need to
you-
know.
You have opportunity to discover it,
Oh, absolutely.
so.
But I felt kind of stupid standing
And
there saying, well, I
also
don't
look
know.
for Aaron Greenfield's bench while you're going there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not designed
right.
as a loop, though. There's a lot of
A
paths
lot of
that
crosses
connect.
back and forth.
But it does
Okay.
have like an exterior one that you can walk around.
Is there, or
There's
will
lots
there
of
be a
cross
map?
There is
There
a
is.
map
There is a map. Where is it?
There is a
at
map.
the main
Kiosk.
kiosk on St.
You won't
Joe's
get
Street.
lost.
Well, I
Get
think,
to know
I
it
think
when
I
you
looked
get
at all three
from the center,
kiosks, and
see
each
all
one
of
had a
it.
map.
Yeah.
The big one was the one near the outdoor classroom, but they have,
Yeah.
they have the two
Yeah, I
other
think
ones.
that was the main kiosk, has a big
Yeah.
one, yeah.
So then they have, but they have small
Because
versions
Alex
of them.
took that from our farmer's market setup, so.
Okay, I'll pass that word along.
And I
Okay.
want to do a
Thank you.
shout out to Ilex, because she did a lot of the work, the final work in getting it ready for
Yeah.
She was a
Public
So just so
coordinator.
the public knows, the work is, they're still working out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know the schedule and when they'll be there, because they're, as with any project, there's gonna be some
equipment available.
issues that need to be addressed, you know, with adding plantings or whatever that still needs to go along.
So we can encourage people to get out and enjoy the park, but realize it's a work in progress.
There may be workmen there during
Yeah.
the work day, weekdays, 8 to 3 or so.
Okay.
After school, it'll be, it is open, and I was there the Thursday before this event to take some pictures, because I knew it was gonna rain, and there were workmen out there, and I didn't have any problem going around them. Yeah, they weren't obstructing
They didn't
access.
kick you out then?
No, no.
Good.
So they know people are using it now, even while there are people working there, so.
And one of the things was getting rid of all the invasive plants, which were everything in there. And that's why for probably a period of 5 years, it's gonna look barren, because they wiped out everything, all the invasive plants. And it just takes time to grow.
There's the plantings that are going in now that are fairly substantial, so
Yeah.
within a year or two, you'll see the
Yeah.
difference. I think you'll see differences every season.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
going there,
Oh, yeah.
so.
That's true.
And certainly like the brook, Hosbrook and the Ponset River, every
Mm-hmm.
time I've been there, they've been at different levels and different flow
Right.
rates and stuff like
Yeah,
that. It's just
yeah.
amazing.
Good.
Okay,
Now, what was the Warner Trail thing? Was that a truck we were gonna take?
So, a couple of us from our Trails Committee have reached out to a person who, Linda Chauffeur, who has helped out with some of the on-site trail cleanups. Linda grew up in Norwood, but now lives in Rentham, I believe, or somewhere down that way. But
Okay.
she is actually, her house is within walking distance of the trail, of Warner Trail, and so we reached out to her to basically organize, a way of walking the whole Warner Trail over the course of 3 different days. So the Warner Trail is 33 miles.
It used to be 38.
Basically, it was a trail created a long time ago, probably 1940s or so, that goes north to south across Norfolk County. It originally started up around the Blue Hills, but the
Canton
northern
Junction.
part was
Canton
lost.
Junction Railroad Station.
And then it goes all the way down to Diamond Hill.
Mhm.
So the part now that you can walk is 33 miles. We've done 2 legs of it. This week we'll finish the last one of it.
Oh, I didn't hear
and-
anything about it.
Well,
So-
it's
just you and Tom.
6 hours of walking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you figure, what, 11 miles? You
11
do
miles,
each day, you know.
5.5, 6 hours.
Do it on a Saturday?
No, we do it during the week.
Oh, weekday.
Most of us are retired, but young. retired, so we can do that.
How are the markers?
You started
The
Sharon?
markers are good so far. We started in
Really?
Sharon and going south. Surprisingly, a lot of Jack in the Pulpit.
Hey, yeah, it's everywhere right now.
Hey.
So when you brought up that,
The bumper crop.
I have to mention that as
That's
the
great.
Warner Trail is even farther south here. I was surprised too. And yeah, so every week it's more and more wildflowers coming out on the trails.
There's one section of it in Foxborough that I really like, but I don't think I'd ever be able to find it again.
Is it still there?
I think so. You have to walk around across like 2 4x4s at one point. That's like covered in moss. It's really slippery. It's one of my
Is that the
favorites.
one that goes through the cranberry bog?
No, it's north of the Cranberry Bog because I found it. It's some leg of the trail. Like you go to like the train tracks at Gillette and cross them, and then it's somewhere like right over there.
Ah, okay.
Where you get it, and like you go in like in someone's driveway.
Yeah, that's basically what I remember.
Yeah.
And we've seen turtles.
Box turtles?
I don't think
Painted
so.
turtles.
A
That's the
little
one you
turtle.
found. The little one is the
Little
painted
ones,
turtle. Yeah.
And we've seen and in the middle of the afternoon, way up in the tree, great horned owl.
Oh, wow.
During the daytime, it was
Excellent.
amazing. Because somebody saw it, and if I hadn't had somebody point it out,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't,
you
I
wouldn't
wouldn't have
see it.
seen it. So
Fantastic.
it was pretty good. So,
Wait, I had a question about, you had one of the slide with the bridges on it.
Yeah.
The water crossings. Yeah.
The 3 water crossings that we reviewed with the Concom, there you
Why
go.
does that say Warner Trail? Warner Trail isn't
So-
right there.
I can't read any of them,
So-
so you're doing well.
So that's going back to the item around Taya, no, the whole Taya Warner Trail definition is, that's not, so it could go there if they wanted to extend it
Oh,
and include Norwood.
I like that.
So there's been some
We just reroute the
preliminary discussion around, okay, is it possible?
Because it's still Norfolk County.
Ah,
yeah,
that's
yeah, so-
wonderful. But wait, so
so
you've
there's
gotten in
been-
touch with like a Warner Trail committee or anything?
No,
Like,
no.
There's
Used to
like
be.
nobody in charge of it.
It used to be in the AMC that there was a Warner
Yeah,
Trail.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
But I
know
think
the
most of those people
specifics.
Oh,
sort
but
of
I
died
love
out.
that idea.
Good
that
catch, I didn't even see
We
that.
just reroute the Warner Trail. We
Yeah.
take it back.
We take back the
And
one.
that's how we get my dream trail underneath the highway to
Awesome.
University Ave Station.
Right.
Chris
That's how we
Maddox
get it.
is
Chris.
That's
on
my
the Warner
dream
Trail
trail.
Subcommittee.
I would
No.
love to be on the Warner Trail subcommittee. There's no committee. We can just take it. We can just be the Warner Trail
Be it.
committee.
So, I guess we're gonna have to move the Warner Trail item up from 6B and make it
6 EBB.
4A
Yeah,
plus.
sure.
We'll have to go under the
No, but I
subcommittee
really, I love
reports.
that idea.
Yeah.
That's such a wonderful, like, if the Warner Trail doesn't connect to Blue Hill anymore, like, what can we do to make it connect to
And
Blue
so
Hill
do the
again?
details
It never
around
did.
navigating the river that needs. to be-
Diamond Hill it connected to, not.
Well, but didn't it go to the Blue Hills? Like,
Never.
Oh, it only went to Canton Junction.
Started at Canton
okay.
Junction and went to Diamond Hill.
Oh, I thought it made it.
But they're
38
talking
miles.
about, okay, can we connect it to Blue Hills?
That would be a lovely idea.
Yeah.
You could.
That's how we get our trail under the highway from the old Canton Airport to the Meadow Street Canoe Launch, too.
Ah,
Oh, really?
I mean, we could, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
It'd be pretty wet.
No, he's saying
No, it's got all those
anchor it
rocks
to
in
the
there.
bridge.
Yeah, you hang
Anchor it to the
Hang it
bridge.
from the bridge.
Okay, hang from
And
the
you have
bridge.
you have a,
That's my dream.
Who are you gonna hang?
That's my
Yeah.
dream.
well, because that's
Okay,
kind of
so-
Okay.
impressive, not going under it.
What else on this? Oh, yeah, that's the pumping plan.
I can't read half of it, so.
Well, there's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 signal hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
want to make sure we knew it was there, huh?
What's the building?
Well,
that's down
there's a trail
So
network
the,
on that side.
and-
Oh, maybe, so there's
Yeah.
those Signal Hill trails, got
Yeah.
it.
Norwood?
That's in Canton.
Canton, okay. And the highway, the roads down there, is that?
That's I-95.
95.
That is 95, okay.
And actually, the hill is mostly.
Do you have to get
just
from
here.
University Avenue to get to Signal Hill? I'm trying to think how
No,
that
you go
that
down
road
the-
comes
You
in.
go down
Go down the
University
Ponce Street.
Road.
Road, got it, and then,
Now you get an exit to
get in
get
from
off
up.
the highway, so you can just
Yeah.
loop around.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done? Anybody else?
No, I have
Alright.
another thing for you. On the members' minute, it isn't Norwood, it's Walpole, but Bird Park is celebrating 100th anniversary. The trustees used to be trustees of reservations. The trustees are throwing a party to celebrate on June 7th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Bird Park. Free admission, food trucks, all the rest of that stuff. So,
Ice cream involved?
probably,
What day? June?
June 7th,
4 to
4 to 7.
June 7th.
That's a
And I'm
100th anniversary
making a trail
bash,
of
huh?
signs to giving the history of the park. It'll go in addition to the signs that are already there. It's beautiful right now. All of the trout lilies, for example. I haven't seen any Jack in the Pulpits, but I haven't been looking.
Get out
for
there,
them.
they're out there.
I'm
They're
sure
out
they're
there.
there. I'm sure they're there.
Dime
Just
a
haven't
dozen.
seen them. Lots of beautiful stuff up there. And as I say, it's a freebie. It's worth celebrating. Learn a little bit about the local history.
Close to home.
It's a home.
Do you have a time?
4 to 7
4 to
p.m.
4 to 7?
On June 7th. And Bird Park's pretty big, and I know there's a couple of ways in.
There's
so
at
we
least
just
Yeah,
There's
have to-
4 or
several ways in.
5.
You can park near the Congregational Church, the community church there. You can park on, there's an official parking lot, which is too tiny. And
Yeah.
then off of Polly Lane, there's an enormous parking lot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But where's
So
the-
the
Where
Polly
is the
Lane,
celebration going to be? At
Right.
the
the celebration is going to be the entire park,
Nice.
89 acres. You can find it. It's where the noise will be.
What's the agenda on there?
The agenda is, as I say, do a small presentation and then wander around and have some
Are there
fun.
going to be bands on the stage?
I don't know,
planned?
but they were going to have music, whether it's a
Got it.
band or whether it's a DJ or, you know,
Or a speaker.
speaker or, well, they'll probably have a speaker. I mean, they've got to have their little opportunity to talk about it. But I'm on the Friends of Bird Park Committee.
that's a
And go around
surprise.
and find all of my signs and see them.
Okay.
The Bird Company, by the way, donated this to the town of Walpole. And when the trustees took over, they opened it up to everybody. But originally, it was just for people in Walpole.
It was to pay for asbestos lawsuits.
Say again?
They did it to pay for asbestos lawsuits, I'm told.
Well,
Really,
who knows?
really, like.
Yeah, they
All
started-
of the roofing years back used
Yeah.
to involve
Yeah, well, they started
asbestos,
off
so-
making paper, and that was used for currency at the time of George Washington.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they moved gradually over into the roofing materials, and the 83 Moore Street was the linoleum factory.
Right, right.
Yeah, and when I was
And
growing
years
up,
back
my
when
aunt
only
lived at
was
the end of Fulton Ave,
Okay.
and we'd know what shingles they were making that day.
You absolutely
Red,
could.
green.
We could
Oh,
The
yeah.
whole river would
Yeah.
turn
Yeah.
bright red.
Yeah.
You
You
have a
could
slide
tell
for this?
when the weather was going to change. You could smell the Bird and Sons smoke
Yeah,
at my house.
wow.
It meant that it was coming in from the southeast. And we'd say, okay, gonna rain tomorrow. But they stopped all of that, of course.
When I worked in the soap plant at the Quincy at the Four River Bridge, we had a dry soap tower and we made spick and span and Tide and Dreft, and so we had pink and green and blue, and they were all food colors.
Yeah.
But they came in super sacks, like
Oh.
2,000-pound bags of color.
Yeah,
And when we were running the dry soap, the effluent from the dry soap tower, when it got rinsed down, would color the river.
of course. Probably foamed the river, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
funny, I don't remember.
not
the
anymore
font, but I
today,
remember
that's
the
for
color.
sure.
Margaret, anything else?
That's it. That's
Okay.
just to
Brian,
let everybody
Do
know.
you have a quick minute?
I didn't have anything particular. Oh, were you able to pull this up so that
Yep. You wanna talk
the
about
audience
that?
at home? Sure. The Tyler J. Lawrence Memorial Park grand opening is going to be this Friday. Now, somebody said, "Oh, gee, it's 1 o'clock. Too bad kids can't come." But I heard, did some kids have half days?
It's a
Friday?
half day for everybody on Friday.
Got it. So that so we can so
Yeah.
so families can come down,
Yeah,
that
that's a good idea.
their kids will be out of school, I guess.
So where is this, Brian?
So it's going to be down at the Norwood Airport. It's, so there's,
Oh, overlooking the airport.
yeah, well, yeah, so in other words, if you park in the airport parking lot, you can't miss it. It's like right at the, between the airport and the parking lot. There's a nice hill there, and they're putting a playground in there in memory of this young man. And I imagine there'll be some, you know, the governor was involved in getting the grant for this, so I wouldn't be
Good.
surprised if there's some dignitaries there, you know, doing some official thing, but there'll be, you know, but it's a playground, so come have fun, enjoy it.
There's a telescope in that vicinity too.
Yeah,
Telescope?
yeah.
So you can look at the Blue Hills from
Well, you
there.
can look at the Blue Hills, but also if there happens to be some sort of
Starry night, moon
astronomical.
rising.
Oh,
Yeah, some kind of astronomical event that you want to see.
Huh.
So,
I've heard of that.
everybody please try to make that if they can get there. Okay,
Yep.
Greg?
So, last month I had been given this wonderful Justin Bieber. And unfortunately, it was such a crummy month for pictures. I never got around to getting a picture of him on a sunny day at Hennessy or another property. So I'm gonna have to, I missed my opportunity there. But, decided to give it to Brian. For a
okay.
plethora
Good idea.
of reasons, much of it long-term. You've been on the wayfinding committee for so long and trying to spearhead all the
Justin.
ways we could mark our trees.
And don't
And,
convert it to a hat.
Well, I was trying to figure out, now, the idea is what, I take this out on the trail somewhere, get a nice day picture of it
Yeah.
or
That
something?
would be
Yours
good.
for the month.
Where's
We
Waldo?
appreciate-
So, to
Yeah,
We
appreciate-
have it for
Well,
the
now,
month.
do I have to keep it attached to
You have
this?
to keep it
Yes.
attached to the thing because you have to add your initials to the list. on the
Oh,
top
I
left
see,
corner.
I see. So, all right, yeah, so, right, so,
There's
Oh,
a
it's been done.
process.
oh, it's been
Yeah.
done? All right.
So I'm supposed to put his initials?
No, no,
in?
no, no.
No, no,
He
I
can-
guess
he
I
can
put-
put his own initials.
All
Put
right.
it on the initial.
Right, and then
Okay.
remember that next month, you have to award the Eager Beaver Award to somebody.
somebody.
To somebody at next month's meeting. So I gotta show up for June, is what you're trying to tell me, okay.
Yep.
June 10th is our next meeting on Tuesday, right here at the Senior Center.
Good.
Did you, are you good now, Craig?
Am I what?
Good?
That was your first
Wait a
minute?
That was my minute, yep.
Vic, a minute?
Well, thank you for leading this cause tonight and a great duress, and you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Gene, you already had your minute?
Yeah, I'm done, thanks.
Have I talked to you about how many Jack in the Pulpits are out there? That's my minute.
No, bring that up again, I'm sorry. Remind us, what are those?
You're gonna have a
It's
garden in
really
front of your
amazing.
house, and Jack and
Almost
Pulpit
as much as
garden.
there's garlic mustard out there.
There's a lot of garlic mustard out there. That's true.
So with that, we're coming to the end of our meeting, and it's only 8:30, guys, but
Move
Joe,
we
who-
adjourn.
no, hold on, I have a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The next meeting is June 10th, like I said, 7 o'clock right here at the Senior Center. Plenty of room. Before we go, I just wanted to let everyone know that I am going to be taking a little bit of personal free time, call it half a sabbatical, unpaid, but I'm going to be doing a tour, a cross-country tour. I think I'm going to be out probably in the order of 4 or 5 months before
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I'm back. Wow. So as soon as I can get on the road, probably the next 7 or 10 days.
Really?
Gotta finish the Warner Trail before you go, right?
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I just can't believe it's coming up so quickly.
Are you doing it alone?
So there are a couple of things that I have on my schedule on this trip, and the first thing is I have meetings with what are called the Guild of Carolinaers, because people
Yes.
know I'm in
Oh,
the
yeah,
town
right,
Carolina. We have annual meetings. I don't go to them every year, but they're at different locations. And this year's annual meeting is at Kansas University.
Oh,
Anybody here know where the Kansas University is? I've been there before because.
Let me guess, it's in
it's in
Missouri?
Kansas.
It's not in Missouri, but it's Kansas City is in
Oh,
Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
1997, I went to my very first guild meetings at Kansas University.
Wow.
Which is in Lawrence. And that year, before that meeting, about 10 days before that meeting, my family had a get-together in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and I brought my bicycle and rode my bicycle from there to
Ooh,
Kansas City,
my
to
gosh.
Lawrence,
Wow.
and that was 10 days. So I'm thinking I might take my bicycle and do a
Impressive.
little recreation of that arrival at my very first
Wow.
meetings
Well,
there.
Now,
How are you
is your
doing that?
trip going to include some Caroline bells you're going to get to
Yeah,
perform?
well, that's the point.
Oh.
Yes. And then I'm going to then continue on what's known as the Lewis and Clark Bicycle Trail up to the Pacific Northwest,
Going west.
where in August, my family's going to have another reunion. So
Oh,
those
fantastic.
two are-
Montana, Idaho,
So actually, it goes
Washington,
through
is it?
North Dakota as well,
Oh.
the Missouri, follows the
Got a
Missouri.
few hills in
it
there,
does.
Lee.
Yep.
Well, it's mostly flat on the eastern, on the west,
East
on
of the
the eastern
mountains.
side, but
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Good.
So
that's why.
northern, and how are you getting back? Which route are you
Yes,
getting
which
back?
route? Probably the most direct.
You may want to try Route 66. That was the bucket list boys a couple
Well,
of years ago.
that's south.
that's what,
West.
Curtis.
Yeah, that's southwest.
Yeah.
But then you come
So it's
across.
actually
Then up to
US
Chicago, right?
20, Vic.
Yeah,
Oh, that
US,
goes
Yes.
the longest
Yeah.
highway.
Yeah.
So anyway,
US 20 or
But-
90, I would think.
90, I think 90 is the longest.
so 90 is an interstate. I'm
Yep.
avoiding interstate.
That's right, you can't
I
walk.
would-
yeah,
He wants to
so-
take the
right.
scenic route.
Nobody wants to bike on it.
Yeah, six does too.
So, and yeah, 6 actually goes
Starts down the
It-
Cape and goes all the way across.
Provincetown to,
Someplace in California. I
Yeah.
don't think it
Long
makes the
Beach,
coast
somewhere?
anymore.
Long Beach, yes,
I don't think
that's
it
it.
makes the
It's Long
coast
Beach.
anymore.
But it's
3,000.
considerably
No,
south of
because
the
90
Lewis
is the
and Clark.
longest. They
Oh,
can
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
well, anyway, so that's,
Yeah.
that's the news I have.
Well, enjoy.
Well, that's
Yeah.
gonna be
Within the
great.
next
Wow.
7 to 10 days.
Yeah, I think
He's
so.
figuring it out.
Wait a minute. He used to do the Appalachian Mountain Trail for 4 months.
I'm not
Now
worried
he
about the
drives
physical
around
feat
for
of it.
4
I'm worried
months.
that Lee's going to be gone.
Yeah, right.
Well, I will still be connected. I'm
What
taking my
feels to
phone
me like
with
very
me.
short
right.
notice. For a
Okay,
very
well,
you-
the
are
next
you-
meeting is June 10th.
Are you giving updates?
I am not good at goodbyes.
So,
Even
Well, it's-
temporary ones.
Maybe-
Till we meet again.
So actually, June 10th is the first day of my guild meeting, so
Oh.
I will be involved in those meetings on that day.
Very good.
So.
So when is your estimated departure date?
Let's talk offline, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, does anybody have any other last minute reminders?
I'm done.
Great meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Norwood Community Media for taping us. And Michael, thank you for being here. And everybody have a good day.
Don't we
Good
have to
night.
adjourn?
A motion to
Oh,
adjourn?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we
Second,
have a
doesn't
second?
require a second.
Oh, doesn't
Just
it?
requires a
Oh, really? Just a
Brian?
vote?
Robert's
All in
Robert's
favor?
rules.
Aye.
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 All agree?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Excellent.